Okay then, Florida. So let's take a look at these two swings now. The one on the left-hand side was kind of your before. Certainly the progression now in your grip, much better, looking much more natural now. Obviously with the practice you've done, that's started to become more natural now with your address. But in terms of the swing now as we go back, what we're seeing now, so the shoulders getting a little bit kind of leveled off. Club's going back in a decent position. It may be a little bit longer than where we needed to go back, but certainly levelling off the shoulders and the spine angle. So when you come back to the golf ball now, there's almost like a sinking back into your heels. You see your head sort of starting to move back and the weight sort of going back onto your heels to try and get back down to the ground in fear of obviously missing the ball. If you were to stand up in the backswing with that left shoulder going quite high, as you come back in the golf ball now, you would simply swipe across the top and have an air shot. So then your reaction to that, which is where the ones come from when you're at the ground behind the golf ball, is you then sort of sinking back in the heels, hitting the ground somewhere around here. Club face flips over and the ball then goes low left, and the ground just staying very, very close, not much space, and then your arms, I see you almost sort of rotating your torso to target, and the club still sort of sticking out here as you're trying to sort of get the club back over your shoulder. So the feeling really now is that you're going to be turning a little bit more on a slightly steeper angle. Now when you do that, and that left shoulder goes down a bit more, the club now we can see not going back quite as far because you're actually turning and coiling better rather than sort of swaying and standing up. So you're making a more kind of precise and concise turn, which is going to be good for power. You're creating more energy. But now as we come back to the golf ball, there's no need now for you to sort of drop and move out the way. You can unwind your body back to the golf ball. The ground won't seem so close as you're at the golf ball. Lovely strike as we can see. And then through to a nice balance follow through and good contact. And ideally speaking, what we're looking for, as we said at the start, that consistency we're trying to maintain. So we're looking for as a sort of spine angle to kind of stay on there now, and you rotate sort of through a 90-degree angle to that spine angle. So the arm's going up. Could the arm go up a little bit higher? Possibly. We won't worry about that too much, maybe until sort of next lesson or later on, but just getting the body to work back a little bit more on a slightly more tilted position just means now you don't need to kind of adjust or move on the way down to the golf ball. So from a consistency standpoint, you're going to do a lot less movement, which will therefore make it a lot easier for you now to rotate through. We can see that rotation on the right-hand side now. The club's in a kind of very similar-ish position, but you can see how much more rotation with your foot, where the hands and arms are, whereas this one, the foot's barely coming through. The club's at the ground, your head's staying down a bit long and not really able to get out your own way because the ground just, as I say, seemed a bit too close because of the reactions you were having to make. If you're standing up, you've got to drop down in the downswing. And sometimes it works, but more often than not, unfortunately, it'd be an inconsistent mix of some really, really, really good shots and then some shots, we say, still air shotting it or hitting the ground behind the ball. So work on that backswing, get that body moving better on the way back. Requires you to do a lot less on the way down and hopefully increase that consistency, hitting the shots a bit further and a bit straighter. So I hope that makes sense. Any questions, obviously, give me a shout, but I'll see you soon.